Hello again, everybody. We are going to continue our 6.4 notes, and this time we're going to talk about our logarithmic function transformations. So again, just like every other graph that we've looked at, we can transform them by shifting them left, right, up, down. We can do reflections, stretches, and shrinks. So the biggest thing here to note for the difference between when I'm going left, right, up, or down is, again, when our value is either grouped or not grouped with the x. You can see in the top two examples, the x minus 4 and the x plus 7, that the 4 and the 7 are grouped together with the x in parentheses, versus in the middle here, the x plus 3 and the x minus 1 are not. Just to note that right here in our left and right translations, that those will affect our asymptote. Okay, the left and right transformations will affect our asymptote, versus in the exponential functions where the vertical translations or the vertical shifts are the ones that affect our asymptotes. Let's start with our first example. So our parent function is the log base 3 of x, and we are going to transform it using this reflection and this shift. So the reflection, since it's not grouped into x, is happening to our y values and is going to be an x-axis reflection. And then the plus 2 being grouped in with our x and knowing that x's are liars means we are going left 2. So with a base of 3, we're going to start with our inverse function of 3 to the x. Erase that. We have 3 to the x. So if I use negative 1, 0, and 1, I have 1/3, 1, and 3. Now remember, this becomes log base 3 of x. And so since they are inverse functions, our x and our y trade spots. We don't change the signs, we don't change the order, they just literally flip spots. So here is now our parent function. I go ahead and I draw our parent function. I'm going to use that navy. And our parent log function, we have 1/3 negative 1 about here, 1, 0, and 3, 1. So those are my original points. Now, for the x-axis reflection, remember it takes our y values and changes their signs. This is a negative 1 y value. So it's going to go to positive 1. 0 stays 0. It doesn't change signs. And then our 3 positive 1 becomes 3 negative 1. Then our last change is going left 2. So take this 1/3 positive 1, left 2, puts me about right here. 1, 0, left 2, gets me here at negative 1, 0. And then this 3, negative 1, left 2, gets me here. And then we also know that because we went left 2, our asymptote also moved left 2 at x equals negative 2. And remember, that drives how our graph is going to curve over by the asymptote. And there's our new graph. Our second example has a base of 1/4. And we had, this should probably have parentheses here, 2 things happening to it. This is going to be a y-axis reflection. And then remember, this plus 1 was not originally grouped in with the x like our first example. So this is going to be up 1. Because that is up and not left or right, our asymptote is going to stay at x equals 0. It's not going to change. With 1/4 being our base, then we start with 1/4 to the x power. And I'm going to use again negative 1, 0, and 1. You can use whichever ones you want. But if you pick it, you plot it, right? So those are our first set of points. Now we use the inverse function, log base 1/4 of x. And our x and y trade places to get the points of our parent function. So for our parent function, five. I'm going to use the red for the parent function. We have 4, negative 1, 1, 0, and 1/4, 1. All right, the y-axis reflection is our first transformation. Remember, that's going to change our x value signs. So if this x value is a positive 1/4, then we would change it to negative 1/4, 1. Positive 1, 0 becomes negative 1, 0. And positive 4, negative 1 becomes negative 4, negative 1. From there, we're going to slide everything up 1. So up 1, up 1, up 1. And last but not least, remember our asymptote didn't change because we did not move left or right. So draw that asymptote in and then connect your graph. And there's our transformed graph. Okay, here is your assignment for tomorrow. Go ahead and draw your new graph for this. We need to see your description of the transformations, your tables, and then make sure you have your 3 solid points and your asymptote. See you tomorrow.